Alright, so you got Pete here from the Western Union building. We got a mid-rise 11-story building, and this is our boiler room. We have two boilers, both made in Sweden. They're high efficiency, high-end boilers. Right now they're at about a 15-year lifespan. With this kind of a boiler, we should get another 10 years out of it, logistically. The boilers work in a process where they will heat the water going through a closed loop system, which is right over there, the big black pipe. That takes water through the entire building and removes heat from the units, specifically acting like a condensing unit on the outside of a home. We have the boiler here, which will heat the water up and keep it between the set points, somewhere between the area of 70 and 80 degrees. That's where we want the set points and the temperature to be. These boilers help to maintain that. The cooling tower outside, which I'll show you later, will cool it in the summer. In order to facilitate that, water has to come through the whole system, go through the boilers, and that is done through the centrifugal pump, which we have right here. There are two of them. There are two boilers. They work on control units, which are right here. These are called VFDs. There's the main brain right there, and each one will facilitate and go on every 30 days, and the other one will go off every 30 days. They work in conjunction. I have the RPM average on each box, tell you exactly what the RPMs are within reason. And that will tell you how well the bearings are lasting. You always listen for a noise. These are oilable pumps. Our company comes out and oils these pumps. They basically work on the boilers, service them, change out the igniters yearly. I always believe in preventative maintenance as far as that goes. Whether they need igniters or not, they're getting them. So these pumps circulate the water to these boilers, operated by this system here. Everything in this room with the water going through the pipes is maintained by a water treatment system over here. Water treatment system is one of the most valuable commodities in this building. Without that water treatment system, you'd be spending $150,000 every couple of years to replace the equipment. We have a couple expansion tanks, as you can see, which will take the pressure and not put pressure on the pipes. In other words, it'll take the expansion of the pressure and take the strain off the boilers. That's why they exist. We have a fan on both sides. There is movers and a fan up top. These work in tandem, so that if it gets warm in here, the fans will ventilate. So this right here is for the loop that goes around the entire building. That's the water on the inside. There's a trap in there, and then that water is treated as well. I'm going to show you on the outside, we have a cooling tower. Hopefully we'll get a full view of the cooling tower and get a basic idea. This is your cooling tower. And this basically cools all the water that comes through in the summer, which is fairly warm. Usually it would come in here probably at about 90 degrees and will go out at about 70, 75 on an ideal day. When we have 100-degree temperatures in the center of the city in a concrete building, those temperatures are going to fluctuate and go up. We always keep an eye on that. You see a lot of white rust on some of the cooling towers. That'll be alleviated. That we can actually use a product to clean that off. We have these vents here which pull air through. So not only does this cooling tower work with a water system that runs from the top, drips straight on down through, and that cools the evaporator on the inside, the heat sink, which basically will cool the water down. There is also a fan at the top of there. That fan is huge. It takes up the whole top section. In this particular building, because they didn't have water treatment the first 6 years, we replaced the whole upper chamber, including the door. That's how bad the water treatment was.
Wow.
It was just not done. And that's not anything that will say that there was bad management or anything on that line. We took over the building from the builder after about 6 years, and I insisted we get water treatment, which is right now we've been running for 10 years since then, with no issues with anything needing to be replaced because of rust and bad treatment from the water. So if you go back into the room here, you can see gauges right here. These gauges tell you what the water temperature is. The bottom gauge tells you the pressure. Right now, they're both running where they should be, and that left pump is on. Every bit in this boiler room up here with these motors. You see two motors. There's a motor and a wash motor on the outside. They all need to be maintained. We have them professionally maintained so that they stay as they should. So that's your basics on the water treatment and the boiler room and the cooling tower. If I think of anything else, we'll put up another video, but that's your basic, as of now, instruction.